What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me on this little somber Monday morning is Luis Barranco. Luis, we had a bunch of DS games this weekend that we got to recap. 3 blowouts, and the other games were really good. So we know 2 of the blowouts. Obviously, the third was the Cubs-Brewers, but going to be spending some time talking Yankees getting their butts kicked in Toronto, and then talking about some of the more entertaining series. Game 1, Dodgers-Phillies. Game 1 and 2, Seattle, Detroit, and then obviously preview the games tonight. But Luis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy Monday morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning. I'm up. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. Had 2 good nights of sleep. Made it back home Saturday night. So yeah, how about yourself? How was your weekend?
It was pretty uneventful. I didn't do much besides watch sports, if we're being honest. So I can't say it was a good weekend. Watching the Yankees again get their absolute crap rocked in Toronto. Not enjoyable. Michigan got the win, so that was good. Bears didn't play. Starting to face the cold, dark, lonely winter, and starting to think of some things that I'm going to have to pick up, some hobbies that I'm going to have to pick up over the winter months.
And what is that? Not watch the Yankees?
Yeah, I got to fill my time to, if the Yankee season's going to be over. Definitely going to pick up reading again. That's usually something I do a lot more in the offseason versus when I'm watching the Yankees every night. Reading, obviously this podcast, talking offseason stuff, but I don't know what else. I got to figure it out. Running season's coming to an end with the marathon on Sunday. So
Congratulations.
Not done yet.
Yeah.
I got to do it. Congrats to Joe, by the way. Joe ran the Minneapolis Marathon over the weekend. I looked up his time because it's public information. That dude was flying. He ran it in 3 hours and 30 minutes, 8:21 pace.
Oh shit!
I know. That dude was flying.
8:21 pace is like my like not fast, but like pushing it, like damn near pushing pace for a 5K.
Yeah,
so congratulations, man.
Congrats to Joe. Congrats to all the runners. I know it's marathon season, so congrats to you guys for completing those marathons that you work toward. I got to start thinking of things to do this winter because I'm ready for it. We're a game away from elimination.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I came back from the wedding and I'm like, man, elimination soon. Football has me really like ticked off. Like I need to pick up a new like non-sports hobby. Like I don't want to watch basketball. Adam Silver. I was watching Lakers Warriors preseason last night, and the product was so unwatchable. It was, oh my, like I might pick up like knitting, yarn, like crocheting, or whatever, just, you know what I actually did yesterday? I went to a park.
Okay.
I went to a park and I just sat there. No phone, nothing. Just closed my eyes and fell asleep at the park.
Fell asleep. Wow, that's a little dangerous. I guess it's not Chicago. I feel like here you might have gotten in. I don't know. I wouldn't want to fall asleep in a park in Chicago.
I mean, it's like I like right now. I wouldn't be watching the Yankees right now. How bad they're freaking playing. Might as well tee it up and start talking about the weekend that was. Let's just get right into it. Yankees played 2 games this weekend. They're down 2-0. A lot of fans have already said, thank you, fans. It's over. Game 1, the Yankees won. They lost the Blue Jays 10-1. Luis Gil went 2 2/3, 2 earned, 2 strikeouts, 4 hits. Kevin Gausman went 5 2/3, 1 earned and 3 strikeouts. Yankees at one moment had the bases loaded with nobody out in the 6th. Judge struck out. Bellinger walked. Rice popped up the 3rd. We were going to talk about more. And Stanton struck out. And after that, it was the game. It was a 2-1 game. Bellinger brought in a run through the walk. Vlad Jr. got a homer. Kirk got a homer. And then Luke Weaver was just terrible. Didn't get through registering out. 3 earned, 1 walk, 2 hits, 10 pitches. One of the big things with Luke Weaver is that I'm going to ask you, did you see his comments after the game?
Yeah, I did. I actually saved them on Twitter. But you can go ahead.
No, I was just making sure because I want to note that. And then game 2 was yesterday. Blue Jays won 13-7. Trey Yesavage, Yesavage, 5 1/3, 1 walk and 11 strikeouts. New postseason record for strikeouts for a Blue Jays pitcher in the postseason. Second youngest pitcher with double-digit strikeouts in the postseason. 10 strikeouts through 4th innings pitch was the most in postseason history. Next to Patrick, tied with Patrick Corbin, which the Yankees got Schlittlered by the Blue Jays guy yesterday.
They got savaged.
Yeah. Yankees got outscored 23-8 in the first 2 games of the series, and the 2017 Yankees team was the last team to rally 0-2 in the road deficit in the DS under the 2-2-1 format. Teams in that spot have advanced just 3 times in 34 tries, including 20 sweeps. William, this was a horrible weekend, horrible performance by the team. One thing I do want to clear up is, there's a narrative going around that Aaron Judge doesn't show up in the postseason. I mean, that's not clearly the narrative this year, boys and girls. And through 18 at-bats, he's hitting .444 with 8 hits, 2 runs, 1 double, 2 RBIs, and 9 total bases. So clearly at the plate, he's clearly performing at the plate. It's just the other guys just aren't doing it. So, William, take it away.
Well, I think that's the interesting conversation, and I do think we should start there with Judge, because he is – the numbers, the counting stats are good, but the biggest moment, I think right now, if the season ends Tuesday night, Wednesday night in the Bronx, whatever, if they end up – even if they end up losing this series to Toronto, he could hit above 400 like he is right now, but what are you going to remember? You're going to remember the strikeout in game 1 with the bases loaded and nobody out. Bases loaded, nobody out. Bottom 6 or top 6, you're down 2-0. The best hitter on the planet is up in Aaron Judge. And he works a 3-2 count against Gausman. And as the 3-2 pitch was in the air, myself and I'm sure Yankee fans across the country were saying, "Oh, that's a ball." And I said it. I said, "That's a ball." And it was one of the worst swings he's put on a pitch all season long. I mean, we've seen Judge. He's been pretty much locked in. There's been points, of course, that he struggled this season a little bit. He had that kind of early summer swoon. That was one of the worst pitches he's put on a ball all season long. And that completely, in my opinion, changed the course of that game, changed the course of that series. People can go out and say, "Oh, well, the Blue Jays scored 10 runs in that game. You would have lost anyway." Yeah, but I think that would have completely changed how the Yankees approached their bullpen that game. They probably would have pivoted to the A bullpen guys if they were available. I mean, Williams would have been available. I don't know, maybe Bednar. They had the day's rest before. If he gets that walk there, it's 2-1, bases loaded, still nobody out. Bellinger up. You would think they, at the very minimum, still managed to tie that game, and then we're tied heading into the bottom of the 6th, and who knows what happens from there. That completely changed the whole series, in my opinion. And again, the numbers are good for Judge. You can't say he's not showing up, because he is showing up this postseason. He did miss that ball in right field yesterday that hit off the wall and got past him, but that didn't really affect the game that much because the next batter hit a home run. If he just takes the walk there, I don't know. We could be talking about a 1-1 series. We could be talking about it still could be 2-0 Blue Jays, but it wouldn't have been a blowout. And I don't know. It just feels like the Yankees kind of are cooked mentally right now. But again, series is not over. They've come back from these deficits before. 2017 ALDS against Cleveland. I was there, Game 5 in Cleveland. So they lost the first 2 games in Cleveland. That was a good Cleveland team too, by the way. They were in the World Series in 2016, had a really good pitching staff in 2017. And then 2001 was the other time they did it against the Oakland A's. Obviously, they ended up making the World Series that year. Not the position you want to be in. Toronto just is unbelievable at home. I think they're now 56-27 at home this season, which is insane. And then, you got to win 2 at home. You got to go back there and win 1 in Toronto, which I just don't think is going to happen. So it feels like it's over at this point. But I can't put the blame on Judge, like you said.
But my thing is just like, it just shows the fact that these guys cannot get it done in the postseason, the other guys. And I mean, it's going to get to the point where we have to ask ourselves, if the Yankees do get eliminated in the next tomorrow night or the day after. Like, what do they need? Like, what do we do? How do you redo this team? Like, it's the same thing, rinse and repeat every year. You mentioned this the other night. Like, it's the same thing happening over and over again. And it's just like, how do you stop this from happening? And it's crazy because the Blue Jays have relatively like guys like Ernie Clement, Nathan Lukes, and we're not saying anything bad about those guys, but they're not in the same level of caliber of player of like Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Ben Rice. You can make the argument for, and Giancarlo Stanton, and they're just not showing up, and they're showing up.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I don't want to sound like a complete optimist here, but for one, the Blue Jays are an incredible home team, as the record shows.
Can we say it's getting on the point where it's like somewhat suspicious that they're so good at home, 56-27, and have a losing record on the road? I don't want to say again. I don't think they're doing anything wrong, but I do want to just pose the question. It is a little sus that they're that good at home and have a losing record on the road.
They're a 500 team on the road.
Below 500. Below.
But they're like 500. It's like 40 and 41 or 40.
Yeah,
30,
40 and 41. Yeah.
Yeah. It's they're a 500 team, but it's just like, my opinion is this: a series doesn't start until the road team wins, and so for now the Yankees haven't like the Blue Jays held serve at home, and it's up to the Yankees to defend the Bronx. So if the Yankees can defend the Bronx, they'll have all to play for Game 5, and you'll just have to steal one on the road.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to steal one on the road, but they're also 1-8 in Toronto this year. And if it were to get a Game 5, and we're looking way ahead of ourselves right now, it would probably be Gosman, who was nasty, and then Yesavage coming out of the bullpen. Because right now it's shaping up to be Shane Bieber on Tuesday night, who's really good, by the way, against Carlos Rodon, and then Game 4, if necessary, would be probably a bullpen game for Toronto, and then the Yankees would go Schlittler. We'll see. Rodon, I'm looking at his game log right now, and interestingly enough, he's only faced Toronto twice this season. And in the first game, this was in end of June, he went 5 innings, 2 earned. Yankees lost that game 5-4. And then he pitched on the 21st of July, 5 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned, 5 walks, with the Yankees losing 4-1. I think that's another thing with this Blue Jays team. They don't strike out. They don't generate any swing and miss. Max Fried was unable to generate any swing and miss yesterday. And he's not a swing and miss pitcher. Like, he's a guy that's, going to come in and try to get you ground balls. And he's a ground ball pitcher. I think he leads the league in ground balls to third base. He had 1 strikeout yesterday. Yankees had 5 strikeouts total as a staff. This Blue Jays team is just very, very pesky at bats. Of course, Vlad Jr. is going nuclear, like 3 for 4 in both games, hit the grand slam.
And that was my next point, is that you have to give credit to Toronto for their other guys are providing. I mean, right now, their stats are crazy right now. I know they've only played 2 games, and we'll talk about that also. Dalton Varsho, he's hitting 750. 15 total bases, 4 RBIs, 2 homers, and 3 doubles. Vlad Jr., he's hitting 667, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 12 total bases. Andres Jimenez, 375 with a double, 2 RBIs, and 4 total bases. Alejandro Kirk, he has 2 homers, and he's hitting 333. Like, their other guys are all producing. And, it makes it a lot easier for guys like Vlad and Springer to do what they have to do when the whole rest of the lineup is doing their part. Makes it a lot easier, takes a lot of the load off from their backs, and they're doing all this without Bo Bichette, which is crazy. Bo Bichette's not in the playoff roster. Neither is Max Scherzer and Chris Bassett. They're doing this all with a lot of key components to their MLB team. So you have to give credit to the Blue Jays to do that. I mean, the crowd's doing a really good job. The backdrop is beautiful up there in Canada, but man, oh man, it's a nutty situation up there.
Yeah, again, those guys have been absolutely incredible. And once Vlad was up there against Will Warren, I kind of just had a feeling that he was gonna hit that grand slam. Alejandro Kirk, of course, he hits 2 home runs in game 1, and the Ernie Clement home run in the second inning, I thought it was a pop up against Fried, but somehow it carried out of there. Will Warren, we didn't talk about him. 4 2/3. 6 earned runs, 7 hits, 4 home runs allowed, 84 pitches. They were just waving the white flag at that point, saving the pen. If there is some semblance of a positive coming out of this game for the Yankees, the bats did get going a little bit late. Belly home run, Rice double, Stanton single, Judge single. Like, they put up 7 runs. If Will Warren doesn't give up those 6 earned, it's a game. But again, the Blue Jays were pitching kind of their B bullpen guys, and then they brought in Varland, who's nasty, and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who's pretty good too. Those guys went 2 scoreless, so they did pitch their A bullpen guys at the end of the game. Yankees bats got going a little bit. Now this thing pivots to New York, and like you said, series doesn't start until somebody loses at home. I think the Yankees will probably lose one of these games at home. They are 4-2 against the Blue Jays at home this season, which is something worth noting. They're again 1-8, I believe, now on the road against Toronto this year, which again, I don't know. It's a little suspect to me, but again, I'm not taking anything away from the Blue Jays. They've dominated the Yankees this season. I'm just salty. Not much else to say. They're getting their crap rocked. It's been embarrassing.
I got a couple of things. Trey Yesavage, what a performance yesterday. I mean, the splitter. I mean, Ben Rice is probably going to have nightmares all of this offseason with the splitter. Mm-hmm. Like, I can just see him just hitting exclusively splitters off of the
TrackMan machine or whatever it's called.
The TrackMan machine. Coming into your first start doing something similar to what Cam Schlittler did, like, that needs to like get more like notoriety. I think the big thing that why Schlittler's performance gets more notoriety is because 1, it was for the Yankees, 2, it was against the Red Sox, and he went 8 strong and it was 12 strikeouts. But I think Trey Yesavage should also get, just as much, if not a little less, notoriety with the start, because number 1, it is very hard to pitch in the postseason, and for you in your first postseason start to do what you did, like, take a bow, my guy, against the Yankees. And we're talking about a very elite lineup in the major leagues. We're not talking like this was against top of the line hitting. It wasn't, it wasn't like he was pitching up against the Tigers, which no offense to the Tigers, but like that lineup isn't like as good as the Yankees. And so that needs to get some flowers. As in regards to the series, I mean,
can I comment on him first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting how the Yankees kind of went a little bit left-handed heavy in the lineup against the right-handed pitcher, and the splitter is just absolutely killer against lefties. The way it breaks, and with the first lefty, Grisham, leadoff hitter, I could tell he wasn't seeing the splitter at all. It was obviously their first time facing Yesavage, the rookie, and I was like, ooh. There's some bad swings in that bat. And then the Bellinger at bat, I'm like, oh, he's not seeing that splitter at all. And then Rice, who's had some bad at bats over game 1 and game 2, like, I could tell he wasn't seeing the splitter at all. They all struck out that inning. I mean, it was crazy. It was strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. The Yankees went left-handed heavy, and it turns out Yesavage is absolutely just killer against lefties, the way his stuff breaks. And he's got that really high arm slots, which, and he's super tall too, which is probably really tough to pick up. And I wonder, he only had 3 regular season starts before this, but you would have thought the Yankees would have had some intel on that, that, hey, maybe this guy's going to be really tough against lefties. Sure enough, I don't know, is this a case of the Yankees not doing their research, or is this a case of the Yankees looking at the analytics and saying, it's 3 games, it's a small sample size, we actually don't think he's going to be that tough against lefties, against our lefties. I don't know, it turns out he was killer against lefties. The 3 starts he had in the regular season, 2 of which were against Tampa, and then 1 was against Kansas City. No intel coming in from those teams to the Yankees about how tough he is on lefties. Turns out he's really tough on lefties. Now you faced him for one time. If it does get to a game 5, which again, I don't think it will, I think he would pitch in some capacity in that game, whether a start or out of the bullpen. And you have more experience against him. But man, he looked like as good as any postseason performance I've seen. He was so dominant. So dominant.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's still all to play for. There's still hope, but I mean, you're already putting up the white flag. So I mean,
you need a miracle.
Is how we'll see.
The Blue Jays are minus 550 to win the series. The Yankees are plus 425 on DraftKings right now.
Now, on the tone of the Blue Jays, I want to rope this other team in. Let's talk about the Seattle-Detroit series. I mean, Seattle and Detroit had a great game last night. I stayed up for it. Game one, Tigers won 3-2. J-Rod homered, and then Kerry Carpenter homered. Raleigh and J-Rod both had 3-hit nights. The Mariners used Andres Munoz for the 9th and 10th. He's had the most outs he's recorded all season. He got 6. But the Tigers came in, manufactured a run in the 11th, giving them the win. And then last night, you had Jorge Polanco go nuclear as the Mariners win 3-2. Polanco had two homers off Tarek Skubal, and then you had J-Rod come with the clutch RBI double to tie the game, to take the lead. After Spencer Torkelson hit a 2-run double that tied the game at 2-2. William, let's talk about the series. I think this has been the most exciting series in the playoffs so far. I mean, both teams are playing really well. Stars are showing up.
Stars are showing up for sure.
Like, let's talk about it. I mean, that game one could have gone a whole different way if the bullpens on both sides have been great, but game one could have gone both ways. And through my thoughts are that, last night was could be a series defining win for the Mariners. I mean, when you look at it, Detroit had their number one guy in Tarek Skubal, which I think needs no more explanation. Potentially the Cy Young out of the American League. And if you're able to steal that game and you steal that game away, that's a huge advantage. I mean, when you give the ball to Skubal, you expect to be up 2-0, and you're going back to Detroit 1-1. Yeah, Detroit has home field advantage now with winning on the road, but I mean, the Mariners aren't no slouch, and they have a lot of really good pitchers to throw out, and getting that win is highly critical. And I think even with the home field advantage, I want to give advantage Mariners. So, William, take it away.
Yeah, the Mariners are favored right now in DraftKings. I guess before we talk about the series, I mean, can we talk about how just electric T-Mobile Park was over the weekend and how good that fan base was, how beautiful Seattle is as a city. I mean, they keep showing the panoramic views of Seattle. It's just such a pretty place, such a good fan base. I mean, that was their first home playoff win since 2001. 24 years. Much deserved, long overdue for those fans. They were great all weekend. I just want to say that before we get into the postseason or into the series.
That's just a testament of the Seattle fan base in any sports. The Seahawks when they had the Legion of Boom, and even now that fan base is rocking. They support their WNBA team with the Seattle Storm, and we all know how they are wanting the Supersonics back. But man, that place was rocking. It was a madhouse. Definitely looked like the place to be. I mean, did you see the fan that was crying and he went to his girlfriend and the girlfriend gave him a hug?
No, I missed that.
So this was last night. I think at the end of the game, he started to tear up, and then him and his girlfriend embraced.
Nice.
His girlfriend embraced, and so I mean, hey, it just means more up there.
Because they've been starved for any semblance of postseason success. So to win that game at home was huge. And not all splits, in my opinion, are created equal. I know the Tigers are going to convince themselves that they feel good about picking up a split in Seattle. But it went the complete opposite way you would have thought it would, in the sense that they won the game that Skubal wasn't starting, and they lost the game that Skubal was starting. And I had that thought in the back of my head because I have a lot of Tigers fans in my life. And they're like, oh, we won game one. Game two, Skubal's on the mound. They just chalk that up as a win. And it's you're not guaranteed to win any game in the postseason, especially with that lineup. It's not like they're, trotting out the murderers row Yankee lineup. Like it's a lineup that it takes a lot for them to manufacture runs. We only saw them score 2 runs in game 2 and 3 runs in game 1. The pitching essentially has to be flawless for the Tigers to win baseball games. And there's a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on Skubal last night to go, 7 scoreless innings. He still had a really good start, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. I thought it was an interesting that he threw 97 pitches, 21 of which were changeups. That's 21% changeups versus the 31% changeup rate that he has all season. His changeup is his best pitch. It's arguably the best pitch in all of baseball. He didn't throw a lot of changeups last night because they were talking about it on the broadcast, the Mariners hitters, especially their lefties, are really good against changeups. Sure enough, Polanco got him on a slider and a fastball. So that both got too much of the zone. I'll talk a little bit more about Polanco later, but yeah, not all splits are created equal. Now it's going back to Detroit, and the Mariners have the advantage here because I think they have the better pitching. They have the better lineup. It's going to be Logan Gilbert versus Jack Flaherty on Tuesday and Casey Mize versus Bryce Miller on Wednesday. Not having Brian Wu for this series is massive for Seattle, and it does help Detroit. If Wu went game 1, I think they probably would have won Seattle. And we could be looking at a 2-0 series right now for the Mariners. So lots to play for, obviously, in that series still. But with the way this Tigers lineup is producing, it's hard for me to pick them. It's so hard for them to score runs. And the Mariners have guys like Cal Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez who are showing up and playing like superstars. They're showing up and playing like superstars should play in October. And it's good to see.
I just think personally, also have to give hats off to the bullpen. Andres Munoz collecting 6 outs on Saturday night and, closing the door last night. I mean, Matt Brash got pretty unlucky last night with that ball that got chopped into first, and Josh Naylor didn't have a play on it. Would have been a completely different, half inning if that doesn't happen. Instead of having man on first and second, as what happened last night, and then the double scores both of them, you would have had a man probably on second with, I think it would have been 1 or it would have been 2 outs, 1 or 2 outs. That it would just show a completely different, just completely different mental space. So, I mean, like you said, not all splits are created equally, and I just think with them losing the Skubal start, it's just advantage Seattle. Seattle, I think, goes to Detroit and takes the next 2. Jack Flaherty, right now the probables are Jack Flaherty and Logan Gilbert, according to the MLB website for the Seattle, and then Casey Mize is going to go Wednesday. I'm still taking Seattle. I think Seattle gets it done. I don't think they're flying back to Seattle.
I tend to agree. Then they would fly straight to Toronto. Yeah, that's true. I tend to agree. I just have a hard time picking the Tigers in any game that Skubal isn't pitching because that lineup just isn't good enough. And we'll see. I think they're going to be a couple day games out there in Detroit, which I think is an advantage to the Mariners that they don't have to play those games at night. Tuesday at 4:00 local and Wednesday at 3:00 local. So I'd rather play home games on the road during the day than, I guess it doesn't matter for the Yankees. Home games or away games on the road during the day than at night.
They need also some type of length. Detroit. I mean, Troy Melton was only able to go 4 on Saturday, so that's also something to know. I know Seattle also used a pen, but I want to see what happens with both of these bullpens to see if there's one bullpen that gets taxed more or less. I mean, putting with game 1, you had Melton go 4, Kirby went 5. I mean, that's a lot of innings to log up, especially also last night. Seattle went 4 and 2. Castillo went 4 2/3. Skubal saved the pen a little bit, going 7. But I want to see what happens with the bullpen tomorrow. Let's see how it shakes out.
Definitely, and you could argue, and probably is fact that they should not have left. Dan Wilson should not have left George Kirby in for Kerry Carpenter, who eventually hit that home run in game 1. Because Kerry Carpenter is now 5 for 10 or 5 for 12 against George Kirby, and all 5 hits are home runs. Sure enough, he takes that high fastball out to right field against Kirby, and that tied up the game. Carpenter, clutch gene. He's got the clutch gene, but yeah, he probably should have gone to the lefty pen. He learned that his lesson for Sunday, went to the pen, got out of a jam. So I don't know. I mean, it should be a fun series down the stretch. Again, to your point, I'm taking Seattle here to win probably both in Detroit. If not, they'll close it out at home in Seattle. And sets up what could be an interesting ALCS, Toronto and Seattle. Seattle hasn't been in the World Series ever. Toronto hasn't been in the World Series since 93, when they went back-to-back in 92 and 93. Two teams that are starved for postseason success, starved for a World Series. Ultimately, I mean, we can pivot to the NL now. I don't think it's going to matter who comes out of the American League.
No. Oh, and you know what I was going to say too. Also, is like, just does it matter the playing, not playing, or versus playing the wild card round? And clearly, by seeing the NL, it really doesn't matter, because you see the AL teams, the teams that rested, did better this past weekend, aside from that one game that could have gone either way on game one from Detroit and Seattle. But man, oh man. Between Philadelphia and LA, I mean, Ohtani went six and get 6 and 3 earned and 9 strikeouts and a walk, and then Glasnow comes in, and we have Roki coming in, and then Alex Vesia, who I think is a really good pitcher in my opinion. I really like him. He's very unorthodox, not a high velo guy. I enjoy him pitch. Comes in, closes the door with Roki at the end. They won 5-3. Dodgers win. Teoscar had a 3-run homer to get the lead. I'm telling you, I just think the more and more I watch it, I do think the Dodgers are going to be there at the end. We got game 2 today. I just feel that Dodgers pitching is way too deep, and right now I feel like that lineup is hitting on all cylinders. I feel like having that wild card round, that like tune-up series versus the Reds, is kind of playing into their benefit. So yeah, like I said, they already won the first game in Philly. All they got to do is come back home to LA and win the next 2. And so maybe only one if they win today against Philadelphia.
It's a must win for Philly, obviously, tonight. If they lose tonight, I think the series is over. This feels like the World Series for me. I think these are the 2 best teams in Major League Baseball this season, Philly and the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are the best team, and it's crazy because who is showing up again? It's Kike Hernandez. They're starting Ben Rourke at catcher. It's not Will Smith. Like, it's crazy.
That's what I said when I went to the game last week. It's all the other guys. You want to know how well Kike Hernandez is doing this postseason?
Yeah.
He's hitting .417 with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, 7 total bases, and 12 at-bats. Like, dude's playing, and he's not getting the extra base hits, but dude's definitely getting on base. And when you do that, when you're, like I said, when you're back half of the lineup and when your other guys are producing, it really takes a load off of the big guys. And even Mookie Betts, .429 in 14 at-bats, 6 hits, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, and 9 total bases. Like, Mookie Betts didn't have the greatest regular season, but man, oh man, I think he saved it all for the postseason. And that's just, the Dodgers are so deep. And I just don't want to like completely just talk more and more about the Dodgers, but when the other guys are doing their part and they have this freaking mega pen where you're throwing out all-stars, starters as relievers, it's going to be very hard. You need to get you need to get runs and run support quick.
And we highlighted the bullpen as a weakness heading into the postseason, but sure enough, they just slot Glasnow in there. He can eat innings. He's an all-star caliber pitcher. Of course, Roki Sasaki comes back from basically spending the whole season in the minor leagues, and all of a sudden he's just an absolute nasty closer, something they've been looking for all season long. We'll see if they can maintain that for the whole postseason run. But if they get past Philly here, which I think they will, I think they're going to win the World Series because it's either going to be Chicago or Milwaukee who they'll destroy, and then it'll be Seattle or Toronto probably coming out of the American League. I just think they're better than them as well. And it's crazy because watching them, it just feels like all of the pressure is on the other team, even though the Phillies are at home. Even though the Reds were kind of playing for nothing or playing with house money at that point, like it feels like the Dodgers are playing spring training, April, May, June games. Like, it just feels like they're totally relaxed. There's no pressure on them whatsoever. That's the way they come across to me. They've been there before. They've done that. All of these guys have played tons of postseason games. They're just chilling, man. They're just playing their game. And even if they go down early like they did on Saturday, Teoscar misplayed that ball in right field. Kind of a lack of effort, ugly play. Comes back, hits the home run. Like, they always come up with the clutch hit. They always have, the bullpen guys coming in, it seems like, and getting outs, and they're the best team. It's not really close again.
It looks like a tune-up game out there for them, like spring training game. Like, that's how the Reds game, like the Reds series, like, the Reds went ahead, but like, was there any panic when the Reds went ahead in that series? No, they just came and just did what they needed to do. And I mean, the pressure's on Philadelphia. I mean, this could be Philadelphia's last run with this group. I've seen pictures on social media. Is it the last ride with this Schwarber, Harper, Turner group? And, when you have that pressure riding on you, I kind of do feel that you're going to be able to tend to be more tight. I mean, the Dodgers have been there. They've already done it before. And if they don't get there, their excuse is, oh, well, we didn't have a bullpen, or there wasn't any consistency between the starting rotation. Philadelphia really doesn't have an excuse.
No Wheeler could be killer. Chris Sanchez as a two starter would be great. Luzardo's going tonight as your game 2 starter, though, instead of Sanchez. Wheeler obviously would have been the game 1. Luzardo has 2 starts against the Dodgers this year. One was on April 4th, 7 innings, 2 hits, scoreless ball with 8 strikeouts and 2 walks. That's when the Dodgers were kind of struggling to get out of the gates strong. They won that game 3-2, Philly did, and then pitched again. Luzardo did on September 17th, which is much more recent. The Phillies lost that game 5-0. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. 8 ground balls, 13 fly balls, 106 pitches. So that's your most recent game. That was in LA. Dodgers won that one 5-0. I don't know. Let me pull up the DraftKings odds real quick. Yeah, the Dodgers are minus 320 to win that series right now. Phillies are plus 260. It's crazy, man. But another thing with Philly, and I feel like we've talked mostly about the Dodgers and highlighting their postseason success, whatever. So, do you just feel like that lineup's a little bit old? Harper, is he past his prime?
That's the whole thing. It's just like, is this the last ride? I mean, we can talk about baseball financials, but I mean, you look at that whole team, and it's like they are old. And it's like you have to look at it like Harper. How old's Harper? Harper
33. Judge's age.
Harper didn't have the greatest year. Trey Turner was great this year. Like, he won the bat. He was like up there in the batting title.
He won it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I mean, it's been Schwarber doing the work this year, and he's not no spring chicken as well. So, like I said, all pressure's on the Phillies. It's the last ride. Who knows? They gotta win tonight. Tonight's a must win. If they don't win tonight, I don't see them going and winning 3. If they go down 2-0, I think them going down 2-0 is worse than the Yankees going down 2-0. And this not being a homer, it's just that I just don't see a world where you can win 3. They have more talent than the Yankees, but I just don't feel they can do it at all.
Nobody's beating the Dodgers 3 straight times in the postseason this year. The rotation is nasty. Yamamoto gets better every single start. It feels like Snell, Glasnow, out of the pen. I mean, Ohtani. I know he struck out 4 times on Saturday, but the fact that he's out there pitching 6 innings, throwing 100+ miles an hour, and hitting as well, hit 2 home runs in the Cincy game, like, he's just crazy. We've never seen anything like this. It's incredible, and they're the best team far and away. It's in my opinion, and something about like hitting Alec Boehm in the 4-hole. Like, once you get past Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, it's like that Phillies lineup is pretty gettable. I mean, Boehm, Marsh, Real Muto, Kepler, Bader, Stott. None of that.
Bader's hurt too, so
he's hurt. None of those guys scare me the way like an Andy Pages does. I think Andy Pages is going to be like the bridge between this current iteration of the Dodgers and whatever they are moving forward once Betts and Freeman retire. Although Betts probably got plenty of years ahead of him. Freeman's closer to retirement. But like if you look at the Dodgers 5 through 9, it's Teoscar, Edman, Pages, Kike Hernandez, and Ben Rortvedt. I feel better about all of those guys, in my opinion, than I do most of those Phillies guys, with the exception of probably Rortvedt and Real Muto. But I don't know. I think we kind of lost sight of the fact that the Dodgers were a super team because they struggled a little bit this regular season and didn't win 100+ games. But dude, I mean, they're built for playoff success. The lineup, the rotation, they're good. They're really good. Again, we'll see if the bullpen does come back to bite them at any point in this postseason. If the Phillies have to chase Snell early, get him out in the second or third, fourth inning, and make them use people not named Glasnow and Sasaki out of the pen, then I think we have a conversation. Let's see. That's when it gets interesting for me. But Philly has to win tonight.
No, I think Philly's cooked. I'm taking Dodgers in 4. Updated mid-pick.
Okay, I mean, we both picked the Dodgers. I think before the playoffs, we both picked Philly, but now we're going Dodgers. I think I picked them in the last episode. Yeah. So, and let's talk about this other series, the other NL series.
I mean, Cubs. Brewers won 9-3. Matthew Boyd couldn't get out of the first inning. He got through 2/3 of an inning, 2 earned, given up in the frame. 4 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. 3-hit game, 3 RBI game for Jackson Chourio, who had a hamstring injury. His status is unclear for the postseason. 2-hit games from Terrain, Contreras, and Perkins. I mean, I don't really have that many takeaways from this game. I feel like this is kind of a fluky game 1. I feel like I want to see what happens tonight before I get a better read on the series. I do feel like when your starter can't get out of the first inning and can't record 3 outs, you're already set behind the sticks.
Safe to say, yeah.
Safe to say, but I kind of feel like anybody who does that, you're really putting a really, really bad. It's like turning the ball over in football in your first 4 downs. Like you're really starting off the game really bad. So I don't know. I feel like this game is more of like an anomaly game.
Yeah, Boyd really struggled, and then Soroka wasn't any good either. He pitched 1 inning, gave up 3 earned. The keynote here, though, from this game, Chourio had 3 hits in like the first 2 innings, but he left the game with the hamstring injury, and that was the same hamstring that he hurt earlier this season, kept him out for a while. Seems like he's going to be day-to-day, but I don't think he's going to be in the lineup tonight. I don't know if he's going to be back this series, to be honest. That could be huge for the Cubs, because I do think he's probably their best hitter. I know statistically it might be Yelich, but Chourio is talk to anyone in baseball. He's that guy. He's this, he's kind of their superstar in the making. He's probably the most talented hitter that they have, and it's a matter of time before he breaks out and has an MVP caliber season. No one's winning the MVP except Ohtani in the National League for the foreseeable future, but not having him is going to be huge. Tonight, it's Aaron Ashby versus Shota Imanaga. Like, the Cubs can get at Ashby. It's a question of Imanaga. I actually like Imanaga pitching in Milwaukee more than I do Chicago, just because if the wind's blowing out in Chicago, the ball's going to be flying.
Take a shot when William says something about Shota Imanaga and Wrigley Field wind blowing out. Like, hook, line, sinker, every single pod. Every single pod,
but it's true. I mean, he gives up a ton of home runs. So if the Cubs win tonight, which I think they have a good chance of winning tonight, series flips once they go to Chicago starting on Wednesday, and it's Taillon versus Jose Quintana, which I think is a winnable game for the Cubs. So, Cubs bats, I think every single home run they've hit this postseason has been a solo shot. Happ, Horner, and Bush all went yard in this game, all solo shots. Like, let's get some guys in the bottom half of the lineup getting on base. Like Matt Shaw, you got to turn it around. We need more from Dansby Swanson here.
Kyle Tucker. Don't forget Kyle Tucker. I mean, that's the number 1 guy. You traded some high impact pieces and Cam Smith out to Houston, and this is the guy we're talking about $400 million, $500 million in this offseason. You got to show up, make yourself some money, because right now you're losing money with your performances. Right now, you need to go make yourself some money. You have a nice little postseason, even though you could be eliminated by the end of the week. You have yourself a nice little postseason. You're making yourself a lot of money. Again, remember, people don't remember, casual fans, a lot of people don't remember your regular season. People will remember your postseason. If you have a really good postseason, and it's in a lot of sports, you have a really good postseason, you go on a little run, you'll be getting paid. Go look at, in basketball, Matthew Dellavedova. He had that insane run in the postseason for the Cavs that one year. Got paid. Kyle Tucker, go do it. Have yourself a little run, and you'll be writing yourself your own check by the end of the year.
Yeah, and he's definitely hurt, dealing with the calf, dealing with the hand. But yeah, he's got to step up. He's in the lineup. If you're in the lineup, I expect you to produce. If you're so hurt to where you can't produce, you shouldn't be in the lineup, in my opinion. So,
best thing that was said this weekend on the Fox telecast: if you're showing up to the clubhouse this week on your game day, you're available to play. It's postseason baseball. There's no excuses. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you're healthy enough, to show up, there's a good chance you're playing this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The bullpen. I don't care if you pitched 30 last night. I don't care if you pitched 50, like the two nights in a row. You better be ready to play. Elimination games are around the corner. You're playing for your postseason lives. Again, replicating a season year in and year out, especially in the majors, is very difficult. So it's all hands on deck for these series.
Yeah, no Kate Horton is really killer for Chicago. This series is interesting because they gave them the day off on Sunday, so there's off days between game 1, game 2, and game 2 and game 3. So you can kind of be a little bit more aggressive with the pen in this series than you would have. Obviously, game 1, it didn't really matter. But game 2, you can be aggressive with the pen tonight because of the off day tomorrow on Tuesday. So I actually think the Cubs might pull it off tonight and then sets up an interesting series starting in Wrigley on Wednesday. Again, Shota has those nights where he looks like a top 15 pitcher in baseball. Can he have one of those nights tonight is the question. Be curious to see if the roof is open or closed. Seems like those retractable roofs all have been open at the discretion of MLB this postseason. But the Cubs lineup can bang. We've seen it at times this season. Can they get it going against Ashby tonight? We'll see. But again, I think this is a must-win for Chicago. You want to get a split on the road.
Agreed. I mean, couldn't have said it better with that one, my guy. Couldn't have said it better. I mean, I intend this series is going to go 5, but I want to see what happens tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a bullpen game tonight with Ashby on the mound. I think you got to get to him and then eat up their pen. So.
Gotta have good quality at bats, get some traffic. So I mean, look, it's right now. It's a strategic game and a little things game. I think in every series you can point at something that has hurt each series. Like for the Yankees, it's been Aaron Judge having a couple of plays, noodle arm from the right field. Blue Jays have been running the base pass really well. Defense has been played really well in some of these series. So it remains to be seen what happens tonight. I mean, I got the Dodgers winning tonight, going back 2-0 to LA, and I think Cubs are going to get it done tonight, and it's going to go back 1-1 to the friendly confines that is Wrigley Field.
We actually agree. I think that's how it's going to pan out tonight, but we'll see. That's why they play the games. All right, well, we'll be back. I think it depends on what happens with the Yankees this week. If the Yankees lose and their season is eliminated, we got to do a postmortem pretty much right after. So it'll either be that night or the morning after, and then recapping the rest of the DS series once they unfold. So I don't know. It could be a Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. Or we're on call, I feel like.
Yeah, so it is what it is, my guy.
You got anything else?
Nah, just make sure you subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter/X, follow us on Instagram, all those big major social media platforms.
Yep. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. 167 subscribers, I believe, right now. So trying to get to 200 before the end of the calendar year. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back at some point this week. Hopefully the Yankees are still alive the next time we hit record. But until then, enjoy the playoff baseball, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.